Mark Shepard again here with another morning musing. And I'm amused today because I just did my morning musing, but the video camera was set on audio. So I just did a very eloquent morning musing and the camera wasn't even on. So that's perfect. It's perfect for the lesson I have to give today. And the lesson is that we create our own reality. We don't really have this thing called problems. We don't have problems. And I want to challenge you today to let go of the idea that there's even something called problem. And to replace that word problem with the word challenge or learning opportunity. So today, this is how the process works for me. I tend to be at my most creative in the morning. And I've developed kind of a pattern of having a really nutritious breakfast and reading or just eating my breakfast consciously, so that any thoughts that kind of want to come in that might make sense to share with you, I can kind of receive, I can be open to them. And that's a very positive, gentle way of opening to the universe, a way of opening to Spirit, God, all that is, whatever you want to call it. And someone said that the difference between meditation and prayer is that prayer, you're talking to God. Meditation, you're listening. And you're letting God speak to you. But to me, I think there's a higher self, there's a spirit, there's something that wants us to be incredibly magnificent. However, it can't make us magnificent, or it can't give us magnificence, carte blanche. It can't just give it to us. We have to kind of rediscover it. It's there. We have to spend our lives kind of uncovering it. And I'm witnessing right now in kind of the personal life of an acquaintance, a friend, who is really the friend of a friend. And I keep kind of bumping into her, and she's going through some intense stuff in her life right now. Her boyfriend broke up with her, and everywhere she goes, she tells total strangers, I'm in the middle of a devastating breakup. My boyfriend broke my heart. She is very clearly in victim mode. And I had a conversation with her where I shared this information with her, which for me is the best I can do. It's up to her ultimately to experience how to transform what she thinks is a bad experience into something that heals her, that literally lets her out the door of her own cage, But what she does is so beautiful because I can see she's doing out loud what all of us do internally. She is starting with the place here, the boyfriend broke up with her. Now, a week before he broke up with her, she stood in a friend's kitchen and said, I don't know if he's the one. I don't know if he's really the right one for me. She literally said that. And then a week later he breaks up with her, but now he is the one all of a sudden. Now he broke her heart. Now she's the victim of his cruelty. And so now she has a right to eat uncontrollably, although she's blaming that on the house she's living in, because it's like, well, ever since I moved here, I've been eating uncontrollably. So again, she's not at cause, as we say in NLP. We're either at effect or at cause. And the question is, which would you rather be? Would you rather be the horse's hooves or the horse's hoof prints, as Bruce Cockburn said in his song? What is the point of continuing to be a victim over and over again and experiencing the world as against you? What does that do for you? I don't know. It's a really hot, humid, muggy, sticky day today. And it's my least favorite kind of weather. I'm sitting here as I was a couple of days ago, literally just, sweating. But I'm not a victim of this day. This day is a gift. It's been given to me. And what happens is I see my friend kind of making a list of not just the boyfriend breaking up with her, but every loss, every opportunity she's had in her life to grieve. She's kind of making a list. And it's like up on her mental movie screen, front and center now. Maybe the list was over here, maybe it was over there, maybe it was behind her, but whatever, she's bringing that list now and she's reciting it every day. Boyfriend broke up with her, I've gained all this weight. Now last night, the band that she sings with fired her. And I can look at that and go, yeah, she's really difficult to be around right now. If she was in my band, I wouldn't have fired her, but I would have had a talk with her and said, listen, when you're with us, I don't care what's going on, you have to be present. And she felt she was professional when she was performing, but she stayed by herself during the breaks, whatever. But again, it's a whole list of things. And now she adds to that all the things in the past. She had to move. A hurricane wiped her out. Again, that's happening outside her. She moved to this area to be with this guy. The list goes on of how she's a victim. And she keeps reciting it. And she must have told us 5 times yesterday the same stuff over and over and over again. Now, this is not a judgment about her. Please understand that. It is literally holding her up as a mirror to you and to myself. We do this. This is how we are kind of hardwired by our culture, is to wallow, to indulge in this stuff. Now, in NLP, we recognize that whatever behavior we're creating is something we are creating. It's literally a process. So something externally happens, it comes in, we make it mean something inside ourselves, and then we respond accordingly to this meaning. But we've created the meaning. She could be joyful. He really wasn't the one. He's done me a favor. Look at all I've learned. The band, they weren't that great a band anyway. There's a better band. When someone pointed out, well, maybe you can find that better band now, she said, well, no, I can't unless I lose 20 pounds. Right? So that is another limiting belief. So we argue for our limitations. She's not the only one that does it. We all do this. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because I used to do it, and I probably still do it to some effect, but I'm doing it less and less. And doing these musings, these reflections, helps me to stalk myself. And if I can stalk myself and allow you to be a witness to that process, then hopefully it can help you. And maybe it'll even help her. I mean, I had this conversation with her last week, and I was brutally honest with her, and I told her all this stuff. But she's not ready to hear it. And you may not be ready to hear this, or maybe you are because you're watching this. I don't know. But the bottom line is we create our own reality. And these things we used to call problems are really challenges, are opportunities to grow. And if you think of any movie that you've ever seen, there is conflict. There is something that the main character has to overcome in order to understand or get to the next level of his experience or her experience. Take a blockbuster action adventure movie. We like them because we know the hero is going to make it in the end. But there's enough doubt about that to engage our unconscious minds because we are projecting ourselves into that character. So that's really an important piece, that wherever we go, we are projecting our internal reality onto the people and events around us. So how can you be a victim if you are doing that, if you are literally creating every experience? Now, 2 people can go through the same concentration camp. Eli Wiesel, we had a discussion last night, whether it's Elie Wiesel or Eli Wiesel or Eli Wiesel, whatever. Eli Wiesel wrote a book called Night, and he wrote a number of books about his experience in the concentration camp. And what he noticed was some people let it destroy them. Some people, the concentration camp experience brought out their best. And there was a woman in the room who pointed out that when she worked with prisoners, she did some work with people in the prisons. That book was incredibly popular because the prisoners saw something in that book that enabled them to kind of step outside their own victimhood and to embrace whatever this experience was that allowed them to really transform themselves. So that's today's message, is how can you take whatever's going on in your life and take it out of problem zone, move that off your mental movie screen. We all have this mental movie screen. Move it off, put it behind you, flick it out to the far horizon, shrink it down, put it there, dim it out, whatever you can do. When you think of that problem, that quote, problem, unquote, make it smaller, shrink it down, make yourself high above it. There are things you can do to change your experience of that reality. And then that gives you some distance, some kind of get into the observer place where you can observe it and go, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I use this? Those are very powerful questions. What can I learn from this? How can I use this? Not why is this happening to me? That's a bad question. Stop. Oh, my friend, the other thing she said was like, the boyfriend broke up, she's gained 20 pounds, the band fired her. Her question that she kept repeating over and over again was, what else? What's next? What other bad thing can happen to me? Just see how she's going to create something else? And just being around her is so difficult. I've had to use every bit of my own patience and compassion and tools just to be in the same room with her, because she's I gotta say it, she's a clusterfuck in motion. Wherever she just confuses things, it just gets, I can just see this storm. If you remember Pigpen from the Charlie Brown Snoopy comics, how he always had this kind of little cloud around him. Well, in her case, it's not dirt, it's just victim thinking. But you can walk down the street, you can look at your coworkers, and with compassion, please notice, there's a lot of victim thinkers among us. If everything's going fine, then we're good. But it's really that test when things aren't going well. How can you turn it into the best thing that could possibly happen? I mean, literally, the relationships that I've been in that have not worked, ultimately, they were transformational for me. As painful as they were, transformational. The financial disasters I've been through, transformational. Just the things I learned, and the realization that what really matters is how we respond. And I will say this till I'm blue in the face, till maybe somebody gets it out there, that we are the creators of our experience. And even stuff that seems like it happened to us, how we respond to it makes it the way it is inside us. So again, today, I dare you to look at anything that you used to call a problem, turn it into a challenge, turn it into a learning opportunity. Ask yourself some empowering questions, some powerful questions like, how can I use this? Why is this the best possible thing that could happen, and why does it work out better than I could possibly imagine? What can I learn from this? How can I apply the learning that is available to me here in other areas of my life? How can I use this experience to magically transform my experience? So that's it for today. My morning musing, Mark Shepard, singer-songwriter, guitarist, percussionist, storyteller, NLP, master practitioner, and trainer. And people, it's about transformation. That's why we're here. We're here to make the absolute best experience possible from whatever we're given, from whatever we've attracted, and to realize we are magnets. We are literally walking around attracting experiences and people. And then we're interpreting those experiences and people as either good or bad. But no matter what, they're temporary. We are a tiny spark in the midst of eternity. Put that into perspective. Nothing we experience, the worst possible thing we experience here in this life, is of small importance in the scheme of everything. And yet, like a candle held up to the night sky, we have consciousness. We have awareness. And so, it is up to us to do the most we can with that. Turn it into a learning opportunity. Turn it into a challenge. Embrace it. Step into it. Love it. And deeply and completely accept yourself today. Thanks so much. Peace and grooviness. Over and out. Mark Shepard.